Hi, this is Paul. I'm coming back with TTM episode number 30. Got 10 returns, so let's get started. First one is a 6-6 in 11 days from Ken Aspromonte. He signed the Atlanta Braves logo photo. The Boston Red Sox logo photo. The Chicago Cubs logo photo. The California Angels logo photo. And Ken Aspromonte was the opening day second baseman in 1961 in the California Angels, now the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, in their very first game in 1961. Then he signed the Cleveland Indians logo photo ×2. And obviously that's where he was most famous as the manager of the Cleveland Indians back in the early 70s. He was actually succeeded by Frank Robinson, who obviously made history as the first African-American manager. Frank Robinson was the player manager for Cleveland in 1975, and at opening day, he inserted himself as the designated hitter, and he actually hit the game-winning home run against the Yankees in 1975. So, next one is a 6-6 in 16 days for Del Unser on the 81 Topps. Shout out to the Hot Corner. Then he signed the Cleveland Indians logo photo. Del Unser played one season with the Indians in 1972. Then he signed the Montreal Expos logo photo. He played for the Expos for part of the 76 season to 78. Del Unser signed the New York Mets logo photo. He was a Met in 1975 and 1976. Del Unser had come over to the Mets from the Phillies. Del Unser had two stints with the Phillies in 73 and 74. And then prior to the 75 season, he was dealt with the late John Stearns and pitcher Max Scarce to the Mets. And the big payoff for the Phillies was Tug McGraw. And then they also got two outfielders, Dave Schneck and Don Hahn. And of course, I think I mentioned this in another video. Don Hahn was not a very popular Met because he had been acquired by the Mets from Montreal for Ron Swoboda. So, and then the next Del Unser signed the Phillies logo photo. As I mentioned, he was a Philly in 73 and 74, and then he came back in 79 to 82, where he was a great bench player. He was part of that 1980 World Series champion Phillies, got some key hits for the Phillies, and then he went on to coach for the Phillies, and he's almost like a baseball lifer. I think he's retired now. Great TTMer. So, and then he signed the Washington Senators logo photo. He did break in with the Senators, and I did in a previous video. Johnny Serena had sent me a 71 Del Unser Topps card with the Senators. And then, of course, the Senators moved after the 71 season, and Del Unser didn't play for Texas because, of course, I mentioned that season he was with Cleveland. So the next one is a 4-4 in 16 days from Tom Murphy. He signed the California Angels logo photo with his MLB debut of June 13th, 1968. Then he signed the Kansas City Royals logo photo. He was a Royal in 1972. Then he signed the Milwaukee Brewers logo photo. He was a Brewers from 74 to 76. So he was actually a teammate of Hank Aaron's with the Brewers. And then he signed this the St. Louis Cardinals logo photo. He's a member of the Cardinals in 1973. Then the next one is a 5-4 in 14 days from Bob Aspromonte. That's Ken's brother. He signed this Atlanta Braves logo photo. Then he signed this Houston Astros logo photo. He was an original Colt 45. He spent most of his career with the Astros. So he signed that. times 2. Then he signed the New York Mets logo photo. He played his final major league season with the Mets in 1971, but he was at the time when he retired after the 71 season. Bob Aspromonte was the last active Brooklyn Dodger to play in Major League Baseball. So he was the last one of the Brooklyn Dodgers, because he broke in with the Brooklyn Dodgers, the last one to play in the major leagues. And then he signed this in his card, personalized. Next one is a 5 of 3 in 9 days from Jack McKeon. He signed the Cincinnati Reds logo photo. Jack McKeon, I believe, was the manager of the year with the Reds. I had asked for all these inscriptions, but sometimes they do it. But Jack McKeon is a great TTMer. He signs everything. But Jack McKeon, I believe, was the National League Manager of the Year in 1999. However, the Reds played the Mets in game 163 for the National League wild card at Riverfront Stadium. And Al Leiter pitched it. Now, this is a shout out to my cohort Met fans, TTM Mike, this guy, Chris Cards in Oregon. But Al Leiter pitched a 2-hitter against Cincinnati at Riverfront to win game 163. That put the Mets into the National League Division Series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Of course, that series ended on a walk-off. Todd Pratt for the Mets, subbing for Mike Piazza, hit the walk-off at Shea Stadium to win the series from Arizona. The Mets, of course, went on to play the Atlanta Braves in the National League Championship Series, and of course, they lost in 6 games. But Game 5 is when they, at Shea, when Robin Ventura hit the now famous Grand Slam single. The game was tied in extra innings. All the Mets needed was a sacrifice fly. Ventura hit it over the fence. They would not let him circle the bases. He touched first. They wouldn't let him circle the bases. So it went down in the record books as a Grand Slam single, but the only the 1 run counted, but that's all the Mets needed. So the Mets, instead of winning by 4 runs, they won by 3, by 1. It doesn't matter. And then, of course, they took the series back to Atlanta, and the Mets lost in Game 6. But unfortunately, that's how it went. And then Jack McKeon signed the Oakland A's logo photo. Shout out to Brandon Stebbins. Jack McKeon was the manager of the A's. First, he managed Kansas City. Then he managed the A's when they were pretty bad. They had all the free agents left. Chuck Tanner was the manager. They traded him to Pittsburgh, where, of course, everybody knows what he did in Pittsburgh. Shout out to Math Bowler. But the A's were pretty bad when McKeon managed them. Eventually, they got good for like 1 or 2 years when Billy Martin took over with Billy Ball. And then Jack McKeon, where he got the nickname Trader Jack, signed the San Diego Padres logo photo. He was more famously the general manager of the Padres, but he also did, when he was general manager, when they fired the manager, he went into the dugout, put the uniform on temporarily. But that's how he got the nickname Trader Jack. But of course, Jack McKeon, more famous for taking the Marlins to the World Championship in 2003. And then he signed 2 index cards. So thank you, Mr. McKeon. The next one is a 1-of-1. A 2-of-2 in 22 days from Matt Young. He signed the 88 Topps. Then he signed the Oakland A's logo photo. Next one is a 3-of-3 in 11 days from Bill Allman. He signed the Montreal Expos logo photo, the Oakland Athletics logo photo, and the San Diego Padres logo photo. Next one, 4-of-4 in 13 days from Rick Russell on the 88 Topps, times 2. Then he signed the Yankees logo photo and then the Giants logo photo. And then Next return is a 3-3 in 16 days from Roger Repos. He signed the California Angels logo photo, the New York Yankees logo photo, and another Oakland A's logo photo. And then the last return is a 2-2 in 16 days from Bob Tewksbury. He signed the Yankees logo photo and the San Diego Padres logo photo. Other than that, that's it. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll talk to everybody later. Thanks for watching.